Hello and welcome to another tutorial. In this one we're going to be going back to basics and we're going to be explaining how we go about installing any add-on rather than just following online tutorials blindly, and just trying to explain in a little bit more detail what it is that we're doing. So it's really for people who aren't too tech savvy but want to have a go. It's for beginners with Kodi. If you already know how to go install add-ons just with the information that's provided out there online, then it's not really the video for you, I'll be honest. We're going to be looking at installing a couple of add-ons on Kodi 16.1 for people who are still using that, and we're also going to do it on 17.3, which is the newest version, or the most up-to-date version of Krypton. So, like I said, we will be installing a couple of add-ons. However, the add-ons themselves aren't the important bit here, it's more understanding what it is you're doing. So we'll dive straight in. So this is Kodi 16.1. So what we do first of all, we come into File Manager and then we have a source. And what we're doing here is we're making Kodi aware, if you will, that there's a web address out there that contains stuff that Kodi can download and use. So we're going to tell it where that web address is. So in this example we're going to be installing Covenant, which is really good new add-on. This is the web address that you need to type in. Make sure it's exactly as it on the screen without any errors, and then we go to Done. In this bottom box we're just giving it a name. You can literally call it anything you want, it's just so we can find it in the next step. So I'm just going to leave it as calling it TCO. A little tip, if you're doing this with lots of different add-ons, if you put a full stop before it, it will make this TCO appear at the very top of the list in the next step. Can make it a little bit easier to find. So we'll go ahead and hit OK. We've come back a screen and we're going to go into settings, come down to add-ons, which is already highlighted just here, and we always select install from zip file. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to the web address that we just told Kodi about, and we're going to download a zip file for it. So we're looking for that .tco as we called it, so you can see it's right at the top because we put the full stop in front of it. And then for this particular example we need this bottom one here, but you could choose to download any of these zip files. It might be that there's 10, it might be that there's 2, depending on the web address that you've gone to. So we're going to download this repository, and we'll wait for the pop-up in a second. So as it sounds, a repository is literally a place where, in this case, loads of Kodi add-ons are stored, but it is that simple. So you can have, in repositories, you can have 100 add-ons, 1,000 add-ons, you might get one add-on. Hopefully you notice that little pop-up in this bottom right-hand corner. So once you see that is telling, or that's Kodi telling you that the repository is being installed. So it now can access that repository. So install from repository is the next one. This was a clean version of Kodi, so we've only got the default Kodi one and the Colossus one. You may have 10, 20, depending on what you've been doing. We just want the Colossus one, so we go ahead and select it. More often than not, you'll be going to video add-ons, if it is indeed a video add-on. So you can see inside here, inside the Colossus repository, all of these different add-ons are here, if should you want to download them. So feel free to explore any of them. The one we wanted was Covenant, so we go ahead and select it and we just hit install. So you can see we're getting pop-ups already, things are starting to install and download. So as you can see, that's simple. So we'll go through the steps, just do another add-on really quickly. So we go to add source. And in this box, remember, we're telling it, we're telling Kodi the web address where the information is. So for this example, make sure you type in exactly as written in the box and hit done. And then we just need to give it a name down here. So I'm going to leave it as it is. But I'm going to put a full stop in front of it so it's easy to find in the next step. So I'm going to come back. I'm going to go to settings, add-ons, and remember we go to install was from zip first. So So we're going to select the source that we just created, which is the .nan repo, and select it. So in this example, we want this noobs and nerds repo at the top, but you could choose to put any of these on. It's entirely up to you. I mean, why not? When you followed this, install this one here, use this zip here. I mean, this seems a really great add-on. So I've just selected the top one, the noobs and nerds repo, and we'll wait for a little pop-up, which we have got. And then we can have a look at what's inside that repository. So we've just installed noobs and nerds. So we'll select it. And within here, these are all the different add-ons that are hosted on the noobs and nerds repository. So quite straightforward. We'll just we'll select one. What should we do? We might as well do a listing. So once you've found the add-on that you want, let's hit install. Wait till you get all the add-on enabled, bits and pieces pop up, and you are good to go. So we'll come back to the home screen. If you want to find all your add-ons on a clean version of Kodi 16, then all you need to do, an easy way, if you go to videos, go to add-ons, and there's the two that we've got. And if you want to open one of them, just select it, and it will do its thing. So we're not going to go into that in any depth. So that's how to do it on Kodi 16.1. If you're using Kodi 16.1, you can go away and practice. We're done with the Kodi 16.1 lesson. So now we're going to have a look at Kodi 17. Just to make you familiar with the menus. So hopefully some of the jargon you'll be more familiar with now when we're looking at this, and you'll feel a bit more comfortable when we're talking about it. So we're going to open up a version of Krypton. This is a completely clean version, there's no add-ons on here. I'll show you that there's no add-ons on here. Absolutely nothing. We'll go back to the home screen. So the premise is the same on here. With Kodi 17, we are, once again, we're going to add a source, we're going to tell Kodi about a web address online, where to look, and then we're effectively through Kodi, we're going to go to that web address, we're going to download a zip folder, which then gives us access to the repository, which is the library, if you will, that contains all of the add-ons. So there is, obviously the menus are different in Kodi 17. There also is also one extra step that you need to take, so we'll go ahead and do that first. From the main screen, you come up to settings, which is this cog, select it, and you come to system settings, come down to add-ons. You always need to make sure this unknown sources box, or this option, is allowed. So go ahead and select it, and you get this pop-up. So Kodi 17 is by default set to not allow unofficial Kodi add-ons, which are all the third-party ones, which everyone wants. So you need to make sure that you agree to this. So once you've done that, you are now free to install stuff. So on Kodi 17, we need to come to this file manager. It'll start to look familiar now. We're going to add a source. So I think we've still got noobs and nerds on the clipboard, so we'll go ahead and choose that. Yeah. So this is for the noobs and nerds that we did before, so type that in. As ever, this could be whatever source that that can hold your add-on. That's up to you what you're doing there. And we're going to give it a name. Same principle applies. Oops, where's my cursor? In this, put a full stop at the front of it, and it will move this to the top. So hit OK. And then we're going to go back and back and back back to the home screen. Go all the way down to add-ons. Then we come up to this little box symbol up here. And these steps should be familiar from the 16.1 version if you've watched all the way through. So install from a zip file, find the source that we've just told it about. In this case, it's this top one. And select which zip folder you want to install. So I'm going to do the noobs and nerds repo and wait for the pop-up. So there we go, we got the pop-up. So now we can go to install from repository. And I'm going to select the noobs and nerds one. Feel free, explore all these other things, download whatever you want, but in this case we're going to go to the video add-ons. We'll do Elysium again, that's what we did in the last one. Select it now down here, you'll see we've got this install instead, so we're going to hit there. And then pretty quickly we should get everything confirmed that it's installed, and you'll be good to go. Okay, so that's it. All this seems good to go. So you'll see that icons for it's now appeared on the home screen. So you go ahead and select that. Then you can go into it and explore what's inside it. So we're not doing that now. So hopefully that's useful. Hopefully it gives you a bit of an insight into a little bit more about what Kodi is doing. Now I must stress, when you are installing repositories and you are giving it web addresses to go to, make sure you've done a little bit of homework. Make sure you trust the source that you're getting the information from. Make sure you trust the internet source that you're downloading from. It is possible to get some malware along with it, so you don't want a virus on your computer, you don't want someone maybe having access to your personal information, so do be really careful. If you're not sure, I mean, by all means you can ask me, and there are lots of other sources online as well. So I hope you found it useful. Thank you for taking the time to watch. If you like what you've seen, please give us a thumbs up. Feel free to ask questions in the comments below, and it would be wonderful if you could subscribe as well. So thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next video. Take care now.